much on board. And then they did Apocryphon, which was like, it had some synth in there, and then it was getting even more musical. And by musical, I mean like a little bit more melody driven, you know?
Yeah.
And then like there were still some heavy tracks, but it was definitely lightning, you know? And then the next album, High Country, which is my favorite album of theirs because I think it's symphonically like amazing, was basically a folk album that recorded with electric guitars. Like, it wasn't a metal album anymore. Like, it was completely like, and it was just, you know, them kind of strumming along a campfire, which I kind of said to my friends, and I remember reading the comments on the YouTube, it's like, man, people aren't liking this album, but I think it's awesome. And then, like, it was, like, almost underscored by the fact that they did Low Country, which was their acoustic version of it. And then when you listen to that, you're like, oh, yeah, it's a folk album, you know? And, which I think is, you know, great. I still vastly prefer High Country over Low Country, just because it does retain some of the metal, you know?
Yeah.
And then finally, like, their follow-up to that being their most recent album, Use Future, which was like sort of a combination between Apocryphon and High Country, and didn't really like go strongly enough in my opinion in the metal direction or the folk direction. And like kind of landed with a thud with the fans. I still like it. I mean, I like all the stuff they've done. It's not my favorite album of theirs, to be perfectly honest. They do actually have, funnily enough, the title track. Their video is a video game, like video. Yep. Which, by the way, was all designed by Kyle Shutt and done by the Rooster Teeth dudes. So, video game.
You said
like,
the Rooster Teeth?
Yeah, I believe that data is coming from Kyle, so if that's not true, I don't want to like diss anyone who actually works on that video. Point being, yeah, so like there's already ties like video games with the sword, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, like they've sort of after that they kind of hit like a hiatus point, you know, and that's really sad for me because basically from the moment I heard them, I listened to them like probably at least once a day for like 10 years. So like when I heard they weren't making any more music, I was like, this sucks. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself. You know?
Yeah, you know, I remember listening to the Sword for the first time. Of course, Freya on Guitar Hero.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
that was the first time I ever heard them too, but I didn't know what they were. It wasn't until later that I knew like where that came from. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember thinking like, wow, this song is great, and I was fairly young at the time. I was like, this must have been recorded years ago because they just have, to me, they have that traditional heavy metal vibe.
Yeah.
In fact, I think today they may even consider putting the Sword in. Of course, not only are they doomy and have stoner vibes, excuse me, but I would say they also have that new wave of traditional heavy metal. I would also put them into that category. But anyway, then I dug into them more, and Metallica, I mean, I sound basic by saying it, but Metallica is my favorite band. They always have been because they were my conduit to metal. And
mine too, totally. And I mean, like, even now, like, I literally listened to Master of Puppets, the album, on repeat twice today while I was doing work. You know?
Mm-hmm. It's a perfectly crafted album. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, you know, from start to finish.
Yeah.